This is what you do when you're trying to create change in your life, but for whatever reason, you're either hitting plateaus or you're hitting resistance, or you are just not able to see that end point to your decision. Happens to the best of us, especially if you're somebody who can be in their mind a lot. You will justify the end because you can also visualize. And so once you know that this is the end point, you will probably not do the things that you're supposed to do up front. And it happens to the best of us. So here's what you do. Just apply this across the board. First thing is acknowledge. Acknowledge. Then you accept. And this is the most important thing. Acknowledging something and accepting something are very two different things. Acknowledgement means that this exists. Acceptance means this exists and I am going to have to be okay with it. That's acceptance, right? So acknowledge, accept. Then you go into this one more stage where you look at what you can control. AAC, control. There are things that you can do nothing about. And a lot of us, myself included at times, many times, especially for things that I enjoy doing and I geek out on, I become very hyperfixated on certain aspects of things. When I get into that headspace, what I do is I have to pull back, and it is so irritating because my pace is going to get, compromised or something like that. That's what my brain is telling me, right? So what I do is I tell myself that there is only one thing I can control in this process, and it is the effort I put in, and that's it. What is my effort? What is my intention? The results are none of my business. So you do acknowledge, you accept, and then you get into this headspace of what can I control in this. And really, if you really look at the grand scheme of things, the only thing you can truly control is like your attitude, your perspective, your way of approaching something, your peace with the way you're, dealing with a situation. And you know that they're not you. They're not going to make the same choices as you. So once you're done with this control part, you're going to use whatever comes from this little process and use that as your feedback mechanism. That's it. You watch that and you see what comes at you, right? One aspect works for you, one doesn't. Okay, that's just feedback. It's just data. It says nothing about you. It just says everything about how you approach the situation. And once you're cool with understanding that the approach to a situation can always be changed, my God, you are in like a position where it's so much more better to be than the one where you're trying to just like control everything and then you don't get anything done. So when you're creating these habits or you're creating change or you're trying to do something differently in life, you have to really approach it from understanding that there's a past version of you that is hurting, that is still always going to hurt in some way because it's in that continuum. You are in a different one right now. Your body is here right now. So that thing that happened in the past does not exist. It's gone, it's done, capiche, done, be done. So whoever's listening to this, and I hope it finds you whenever you need it, and I hope you know that this is coming from lived experience. It's not something that I have not battled against as an introvert, as a highly sensitive person, as somebody who is in her own creative / entrepreneurial journey. For me, some of that is all in the same, but I also got started because I was on a more spiritual path and I started asking these deeper questions and I started adjusting my life based off of the feedback I got from those questions that I asked myself. It's not for everybody. It's highly isolating. And if you're in this, I want you to know, you're lucky because you'll be one of those few people like myself in this life that will actually experience the depth of life instead of like playing with life in a little tiny sandbox, because all of our emotions are important. All of them, every single one of them is important. So don't chase just pleasure. Think about what you can do with the experiences you're having and how it can help somebody else. Really, that's the contribution we're here to make at some level, and it doesn't have to be big for everyone. It can be to their communities, it can be through to your neighborhood, just smaller chunks, right? And then one day there will be a time where you're able to impact more and more people with it. But till then, you get to work on yourself. You get to see and observe yourself and start falling in love with you first. And not just self-love, like really fall in love with you, the being that you are. It's so uncomfortable at times because you can see your mind doing its own mental gymnastics and whatnot. And there are places where you'll put yourself down for absolutely no reason. So please take this as a love note, take this as a few words of encouragement. Acknowledge, accept. Remember, there are two different things. Focus on what you can and cannot control. Take those three things and then look at the feedback it's giving you. And based off of that feedback, start adjusting things. This is the place where you have to keep like a learner's mindset. All right? Be good to yourself, be kind to yourself, and be gentle with yourself through this process. I always keep saying this on this platform and in anything I speak about. Do I have something in my... And I don't. Okay, I thought I did. But my teeth, I meant. But please be good to yourself. Please be good and gentle with yourself. And if you're at that point where you need some support, there's a link in my bio. You're welcome to access it if you feel called to. And we can work on things together. It's not for everyone, that container that I've created. So please, only if it calls to you, come forth and know that you'll always be supported. But if you can't do that right now for whatever reason, and you're not there for whatever reason, don't worry. Take these three things and start applying them at small levels in your day. And when you start doing that, it's going to become second nature to you. I go through my AAC process. I call it that at least. And I go through that at least a few times a week at times because my brain is doing its own thing. I'm trying to create, I'm trying to build. So be gentle with yourself. You got this.